All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Diz Debate, a podcast made by Disney fans for Disney fans. And we've got some great new Disney fans with us. Maybe they're not new to the game, but they're new for us, and we're glad to have them. But we do all sorts of types of episodes on this show, from battle episodes to travel tips to all the things in between. We do armchair Imagineering stuff, and we get to know our hosts sometimes as well. And we've been doing a lot of everything. But today we're doing a travel and planning episode. But before we get into that, we want to kind of get to know everybody and be able to support them, and so you can go follow them and everything. But Dean, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. The case is out. I've started packing it already. 4 weeks to go. But yeah, all good. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Sophie, how are you doing today?
Yeah, doing good, thank you. Glad that finally next month I go to Walt Disney World. Ooh, same countdown as Dean. So I'm excited for that.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Rob, how are you doing today? A new face.
I'm doing really good, thank you very much. Looking forward to talking all things Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo DisneySea, and just very grateful to be included in this episode.
Fantastic. And is there somewhere we can follow you, or like a handle that we can go like subscribe at?
Yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So my social media platforms are all RS Rob Senior, so my name but with R and S an extra R and S at the beginning. I also have a freelance videography business, which is RS Robstar Videography. So that's on Instagram as well. So yeah, which is just RS Robstar Videography. So there you go. I've got a personal page and a professional page, and I talk all things Disney because Disney is a special interest of mine, and also raise awareness for autism and neurodiversity as well.
Fantastic. Well, that's cool. Everyone go follow him. From what I've gotten to know of the couple minutes I've gotten to know him, he's a delightful person.
Thank you.
Tori, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, enjoying the heat, kind of. Trying to stay cool. Yeah, I'm just excited to be here. I've only been once to Tokyo, so yeah, this is exciting. I can share my experiences.
And is there somewhere we can go follow you as well?
You can find me on Instagram. It's under Disbel.
Fantastic. Excellent, excellent. Well, we're excited to hear all your experiences at Tokyo. And then last but not least, Evan, how are you doing today?
Hey, I am doing great. I'm excited to talk all things Tokyo Disney Resort because it's kind of hard for, us people that live outside of Tokyo to talk Tokyo Disney with people. I really can only talk with my fiance because she went with me. So outside of her, I'm looking for people to talk about it and how much we love it. So I'm excited.
Well, that's what we're here for. That's one of the big pros of our podcast. And I think me and Dean and Joe and Olivia, when they're here, are kind of spoiled because we get to just talk about all our favorite things all the time. So, well, it's excellent to have you guys. We're excited to have you guys. Before we dive into our episode, we just want to go over quick bits of news. My one piece is that Tower of Terror has started a little bit of a renovation at Disney World, just some minor scaffolding and repainting, which I'm glad to see that it's getting love and attention because it's my favorite thing ever. So that's my thing. Sophie, I know you had some news, and then I know Dean had some as well. So go ahead and share what you had.
So there's two little bits of news. Like we said, it's quite light at the moment because of D23 coming up. Haunted Mansion has just been repainted at Walt Disney World, and it looks really good, actually. It looks kind of more historic than it used to. Apparently, it's closer to the original colours from when it first opened in the 70s, so I think that's quite cool. Disney Food Blog shared that in Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland, they're going to start to have hovering droids at some of the food carts, and it's going to be shown apparently at D23, so hopefully we'll see more, but the whole concept sounds quite cool, and I'm glad they're kind of adding more to Galaxy's Edge, because I think it's been open a while now, it needs a little bit more, so hopefully that'll be quite cool.
I agree. I'm excited to see those droids come to Galaxy's Edge, mostly because we should have been having them for so long. We've been promised all this immersive stuff for so long for that land, and so I'm really glad to see it finally being put in. As well as, they've been updating parts of that land. They just did the big split between episodes. I'm glad to see Star Wars Land getting some love and renovation. The change is good. I support that change. I'm not anti-change, Disney fans, I swear. Dean, what was your news that you had to share?
Well, again, I think it was Disney Food Blog, they released some at the Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster. They released 2 drinks in like beakers, containers. I think they're on sale for like 3 or 4 hours, and they're all pulled. We don't know what happened with them. So that was a bit of interest. And also the rumour mill seems to be coming up about Magic Kingdom Space Mountain, possibly due to get a refurb or a knockdown or something else. So I think D23 is going to be the place to be in a few weeks. Hopefully we'll get some good gossip. And other than that, we heard that Emma Frost got cast Friday or Saturday. Samara Weaving she used to be in Home and Away, but she's been cast for Emma Frost. So I think some of the other names they will either reveal at D23 or they'll start leaking through soon. So it's a good time to be an X-Men fan.
Yeah, I think this D23 is one of the most and like loaded ones we've had so far. Like we are just expecting so many announcements and so many updates, especially in the parks, but movie-wise, and there's just so many big projects that are happening right now, and we want the updates. So I'm excited to not be there because I cannot afford such things, but I'm excited to hear what other people say about it because it's going to be a good time. Okay. So with that being said, and with the news out of the way, we're going to dive into today's episode. It's going to be going to Disney, Tokyo, or Tokyo Disney, or however you prefer to say it, but we're kind of taking a trip from the ground up here. And so we're going to start like at the very bottom, like where are you going from? What do you need like for traveling? Passports? How far around the globe do you need to get, etc.? And then we're just going to kind of work through a trip, until we get there. So this is for people like me who haven't been, who definitely want to go at some point. This is good advice from people who have been that they can give us to sort of help prepare and help our trip go smoother, because traveling to Disney can get complicated, but international travel can always be complicated. And so it's kind of nice to have a leg up on that. So we're going to start with the very beginning. Like, how do I internationally travel as someone who doesn't have a passport and who's never left my home country or like around my country, like my comfort zone, so to speak? What's the biggest advice?
So obviously passports were different depending the country you're from. Depends how long it will take. But once you have your passport, one thing you definitely need to do is, well, you don't need a visa unless you're from certain countries. So there's like 90 countries you don't need a visa, and the UK and the US are exempt from that. So we can just travel, and for 90 days we can go there and with no issues. But they are bringing in an ESTA system starting April 2028. So apparently it's going to be like the US system where you have to apply online. So that will be for everyone, and we'll all have to pay. I think it's to combat like the over-tourism thing. So that's just something people need to be aware of if you're thinking of going in 2028.
Excellent advice. Okay, so as we move forward in the trip, unless anyone has anything else to throw in here.
I was just going to say, so I actually flew into South Korea and then flew to Japan. So we needed a visa for that, and also one from going from South Korea into Japan. So it depends obviously what countries you're going to and from. So that's worth checking out as well.
When we researched it, I was going to go a couple of years back, and we were going to do Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Tokyo. And it was just getting too complicated because Shanghai, you need to get a visa if you're over, I think, 3 days. And yeah, so if you're thinking about doing a Moldy trip with the Asian parks, do your research, because it's not as simple as what it looks. I think probably Tokyo is the easiest one out of them for Brits to go to anyway.
Yeah, sounds like it for sure. Another thing too, if you're flying into Japan, I mean, there's more than two airports, but there's two major airports, and you got to pick from Haneda or Narita. Narita is just a little bit closer to Chiba, which is the prefecture that Tokyo Disney is actually in. So I actually flew into Haneda and then flew out of Narita. So I got to see both. But if you're looking for the closest option, you want to fly into Narita.
Because with the other one, you've got to get a train, haven't you, for like an hour or
Yeah.
so. Bit of a
Oh yeah,
bummer.
that was an experience. But it's a good life experience to have, but it was an experience to get the trains from Haneda all the way to the resort. So you could also book a bus, but that would be a lot more pricey. But the bus from the resort to Narita or vice versa is much cheaper, and that's usually the way to go if you're leaving the resort or getting to the resort is busing from Narita or vice versa to the resort. The bus is a great option.
It's also quite a culture shock when you touch down, kind of because you're jet lagged and kind of everybody's speaking Japanese, and obviously, I mean, they're really good. They're really friendly over there. They will try and help you as best they can, but not
Yep.
everybody speaks English. So have the translator on your phone ready to go and just make it as easy as possible. Get all the apps downloaded and everything. And one thing I will say is if you're coming from the UK, there isn't really anywhere that sells the package holiday, so you're going to have to research and build it yourself. Even like the tickets, you can't buy the tickets at the park. Kind of, you go onto the apps and buy them through other means. But that's probably skipping ahead a bit. But yeah, you got to kind of package it together yourself. I think Tokyo Disney are looking into that. They want to make it easier for tourists to come over, and I think they are branching out to get packages together and things in the next few years.
I was going to say, if you're traveling to Japan as well, get an eSIM or something, pocket Wi-Fi, eSIM, because there's no Wi-Fi in the parks. There's like certain spots in the park. So if you're coming and you don't have that, you're not going to be able to check the app because it's all on the app. Everything is on the app. Or you like fast passes and stuff, which we'll go into more later, I know. But just an eSIM is so important in Japan because they're so bad for free Wi-Fi. So just make sure you have one ordered, and they're quite easy to do now, apparently. I didn't do it. But definitely recommend.
I think just following on from what like Dean said as well, I think like it also helps just like learning a bit of basic Japanese before you go as well and things like that. I think that very much helped me to communicate with Japanese people and things like that. Like a lot of Japanese people will have like, particularly in the Tokyo Disney parks, they do have like translators with them, so you are able to communicate with them in English if you don't know as much Japanese. I mean, I think I learned a bit. I learned basic Japanese, probably not so much to like have an entire conversation, but definitely learning Japanese really helps, and also just asking. I booked through a travel agent who specializes in autism friendly travel, and she was really really helpful. Like we kind of spoke to her about what I wanted and things like that when I went to Japan. I did a few other bits and bobs outside of not Walt Disney World, Tokyo Disneyland, done Tokyo Disney Resort, um, but like she was really helpful in like going through with me and getting exactly what I wanted from the trip and things like that. I mean, there's definitely some things I would have definitely done differently. I mean, for example, the doing a bit more like research, not assuming that the way that Tokyo Disney runs is exactly like, the Western parks and things like that. And also, yeah, definitely getting an eSIM because if I went again, because like Sophie said, like there's not any Wi-Fi in the parks bar the entrance, and bizarrely the Winnie the Pooh ride had Wi-Fi, but other than that, it's just park entrances that have the Wi-Fi and things like that. And like Sophie says, like they do rely a lot on technology over there, which yeah, like is kind of a bit irritating sometimes, really, and things like that, particularly if you're not too tech savvy and things. Um, but yeah, like it's so yeah, so definitely getting eSIM is helpful so that you can have full access to enjoy the parks and things.
Yeah, I was surprised too when we landed and got off the plane that a lot of the signage, or maybe all of the signage, had multiple languages on it, including English. So it does help to kind of direct you where you need to be with the signage. And the big thing as soon as you land, because we didn't do it as soon as we landed, so next time we will, is you need to get a Suica card, which is a hard way to describe, but it's essentially kind of like a debit or credit card almost. It's kind of weird, but essentially you kind of just load your currency onto it, and then you can use it to pay for your transit. You can use it to pay for meals. You can use it to buy merchandise. So it's kind of like your key to the city or the country even. And if it runs out, you can just reload money onto it. So try to find that Suica station in the airport because that's the easiest way to do it. And then that's kind of going to open up the rest of your trip for you.
Yeah, I'll second that. So when you land at Haneda, right by like where you catch the trains, you'll see a massive queue, and that queue will be for people getting like a welcome Suica. And it's just a temporary one, so I think you can return it and you get like a deposit back. But they're so convenient because Tokyo specifically runs on they're called IC cards, and they run on them like
No,
you can pay for anything with them.
no.
I've got a Pasmo which I've had from my previous trips, but they all work the same, and you could just pick them up and like they just use them for the monorail, use them for the subway, pretty much everything. So they're very useful to have.
Man, that I have already learned so much. We're 10 minutes into this, and I have learned all. I would have walked past all this stuff, and this is remarkable. This is excellent. Here's a question I have. So Disney is really big, at least here in the Western parks and especially in the US, they're big on reservations, especially for dining, and fast passes if you're into doing that kind of thing. Is it the same in Tokyo, and when should I start looking to do those reservations?
I would say they might even be a bigger deal over there because of their local fan base are so like us, there's a lot of people who might go to the Western parks that are just going on that vacation. They're not as crazy, but in a good way, crazy. But the local fan base is our level of the fan base where it's like they know what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Um, so like with booking a hotel, you have to book that 4 months in advance at 11 a.m. Japan time. So make sure you get that done. And then if you're booking dining, which is really hard to get in the parks, you need to book that 1 month in advance. I think that opens at 10 a.m. Japan time. So make sure you're doing it Japan time. So you got to get online and find out which time correlates to your time. And then also dining, there's 9 a.m. reservations that'll open up on the Tokyo Disney app. So I'm sure we'll talk about that app, but that's a huge thing. You got to have the app, got to know how to use it. It's actually pretty straightforward and never really crashed on me or gave me as much trouble and problems as the Orlando app does often. Um, so yeah, there's a 9 a.m. dining reservations that'll drop the day of. And then if you can't still get anything from there, a lot of the restaurants do have 10 a.m. walk-ups, but it's not very promising and you might not get what you want. So that's at least the hotels and dining side of things. Fast passes, as they're, not officially called, that's a whole nother can of worms. So we can jump into that now if I'd covered everything there, but yeah, that's at least for dining and hotels.
Yeah, I would say this is a great time to jump into the app too. Like I feel like getting to know the app and the reservation system and everything. Like Rob said, it seems like it's a really technology dependent trip. So I think maybe, taking time before you even get on the plane to get to know that app and kind of get to know its inner workings, because the Disney World and Disneyland ones are still pretty complicated, even for me to figure out, and not everything in the park works off those. So yeah, like does anyone have any tips and tricks about the app as well? Like let's open that right up.
I'd say just make sure so it is in English, so it never used to be. It's quite new that it's in English, which is really good. But say make sure you've got your Disney account connected to it, because obviously we'll know if you haven't got that, you're not getting on. And I'm actually loading it up right now, and it kind of loads like this, and it will ask you to skip, but if you skip, it doesn't load the map properly. So don't skip. You have to wait for it to load, and then it will kind of show you the map, and you have to click on one of the parks basically to then see. Wants me to log in. I'm not going to do that. Oh no. Basically, you log in, and then it shows you all the information. Then you can book anything you need, and it tells you like park information and stuff. Yeah, I need to log in before I can show you any of that, so that's not a very good demo. I'll try and log in. Carry on, guys.
Good that you were able to show us, Sophie, really, because like I've actually deleted the app off my phone because like I was running out of storage on my phone. So like I haven't been for, I think my trip was about almost coming up 18 months, which is crazy, really. So it's like a lot. So there's a lot I needed to remember, but yeah, definitely getting used to the app is definitely important. Like, and I think the app does actually take quite some time to load, but like everything is quite clearly displayed, like, and quite, from what I remember, quite straightforward to book like the restaurants and things like that one month in advance and things like that. Got some very good places. I've got a very good place like at Tokyo Disneyland, which was, I think it was this kind of like American style diner which served like Baymax curry. So it was like the rice was shaped like Baymax, which was amazing. So yeah, like definitely useful for that.
I think that might have been at the Main Street Diner. I want to
Yeah,
say there's a coffee house or something like that. But yeah, we
yeah,
didn't
coffee
get to go
house.
there, so maybe
Mm,
next trip. But
mm. No,
but
definitely
yeah,
recommend it.
I didn't have a whole lot of trouble booking restaurants. There were a couple that were kind of hard to get, so you do the old refresh a couple times, and you can usually find something that you want. It might not be the exact time that you want, but if you kind of do that old refresh trick, you might be able to find some stuff. But with fast passes, if you are staying in a Tokyo Disney Resort official hotel, you get that 15-minute happy entry, which actually not all of them get the happy entry for DisneySea. Only, I want to say Maricosta and Tokyo Disneyland Hotel get the DisneySea happy entry, while for Disneyland, all of the Tokyo Disney hotels get the 15-minute happy entry. I think that's right. Don't quote me on it exactly, but I think that's it.
Yeah.
Um, and you might kind of think, oh, 15 minutes, that's not enough time. You got to walk in, get your coffee or whatever, and that's all you can do. But that 15 minutes is like really key because that's when you jump on the app and that's when you're going to start buying all of your fast passes and booking all of them. Because being in that early, you get early access to those fast passes before all the rest of the general population and general public coming into the park. So that's mainly what that 15 minutes is for. And you can also do that while you're like beelining to rope drop, whatever attraction you're going to rope drop. So that's really the key is there is get those booked during that 15-minute window.
Yeah, and it's also like a really great opportunity for photos as well. So we went during spring break and it was just so busy. So yeah, so it's a bit clearer during those 15 minutes. So it's great to get in there. And also a lot of things sold out because the parks were just so mega busy. So you had to be in early to get onto the app because obviously you can't book until you're in the parks.
So I didn't stay on site because I'm too tight to pay for a Disney hotel. I was like, no, I'm going to stay off site and I'm going to do it that way. So I didn't get that 15 minutes, but I went October. So it's literally the week of Halloween. And I got into the park. I think about bang on 9 o'clock more or less the one day. And then other days it was like about 9:30 and I had no trouble getting my DPAs and like my 40th anniversary passes, which I know that is changing. So we can talk about that as well in a bit. But I know it depends the time of year, and if you do stay on site, obviously that is an added benefit having an extra 15 minutes. But I think it is still possible, and people will cancel throughout the day. So if you want one, say for like afternoon time, because you know you're going to be in the park all day, just keep refreshing the app because people do change their plans. People will just cancel them. I don't know if they release more, they may, but I just know people definitely like just sell them because they do cost. They're not super expensive. They're about £9. Don't know what that is in dollars, but it's not super expensive. It's probably about $10 ish. But yeah, I think it is possible if you don't stay on site, but I know there are added benefits to that.
Okay, so now I know where to go and I know what cards to get and I know what reservations to make and I understand the app. Now this one's a big one for me. I'm a big guy on what to pack for my trip. What's the weather like? Is it like Florida where it's going to rain every day in the middle of the day and then be fine? You know, what should I expect and what should I be packing?
I liken it to UK weather sometimes. Japan, it's very wet. Every time I've been, it has rained. And I always end up buying an umbrella because I forget to take one so I could buy a cute one. There's lots of cute umbrellas in Japan, just to let you all know. But always pack an umbrella and a raincoat because it will definitely rain no matter what time of year it is. they have really cold winters, so it doesn't snow that much in Tokyo, but it's still very cold, and the summers are quite hot and humid, so it is probably more like your Florida type of weather, and yeah, there'll be a lot of rain and a lot of they get typhoons as well, like kind of like I think it's like August, September time typhoon season. So that's something to be aware of as well if you're looking at traveling.
So we had like one day of rain. It was our first day actually in Disneyland. It poured. Everything was cancelled in the evenings. Didn't see the shows. It was very, very sad. But then the rest of the time, it was really hot and warm. So we only had that one rain day. But literally, we had to get ponchos and we weren't prepared. The rest of the time, it was really nice weather, like t-shirts, yeah, shorts, that type of thing.
That's really lucky.
I know, really lucky. But not so much the day that everything was cancelled. Yeah, that was very unfortunate.
I think I was even lucky because I don't think it rained at all when I went to the Tokyo Disney Resort. I mean, granted, I only did one day in each park, which I don't really think is enough. I think I would do at least 2 days for each park and things like that. But I'd say yeah, it's just packing for the weather, and things. Yeah, and like Sophie says, it's kind of similar to, UK temperatures where it's quite temperate, so and can be quite unpredictable and things. Um, okay, what could be what could be an essential for me to pack really and things like that other than the essentials? I mean, I'd say power banks definitely because, if you're using the app a lot throughout the day and things like that, it's going to drain your phone battery and things like that. So definitely get like a power bank or whatever. Um, and of course, your standard stay hydrated, etc. and things like that. So take water with you and things. Um, yeah, I can't think of too much else really. I would say to pack for absolute essentials and things like that. But yeah, make sure you've got a lot of extra room in your case to buy merch because Tokyo Disneyland has a lot of really cool exclusive merch as well and things like that, repped by Evan and things like that. Of course, like with his t-shirt and things like that and whatnot. So there you go.
I had to buy a new suitcase. So if you fly direct
Wow.
from the UK, yeah, it was really bad. It was awful. Um, so if you fly direct from the UK, I think you can have two cases for included in your ticket price. I don't know if it's the same from the US. I imagine it may be because I think if you travel a certain distance, you get two bags included. So I bought a new case when I was in Tokyo because I bought a lot.
Yeah, we we had one suitcase packed inside another suitcase because we were prepared to buy a lot when we were out there. So yeah, definitely came back with two.
That's brilliant. Oh my gosh. You guys are so smart with this. I would have never thought to do any of these things. I'm always just smashing my souvenirs in like a carry-on. That's bad. It's not the best way. I'm doing that suitcase in a suitcase thing.
I
I
also take a lot of money as well, for the merch. Take a lot of money, save up.
Very
Well,
true.
that
Very true.
is cheaper over there.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot cheaper. The
Oh,
exchange
definitely,
rate is very, very favourable.
Hmm.
But when it comes to power banks, check with your airline because I didn't know till the week before we went. We flew with Emirates, and they only let you take one power bank on per person, and it can't be in your suitcase. It has to be in the chair in front. So usually I take two power banks for my phone, a power bank for my watch. So I had to get one super one. And then when they looked at it as I was going through customs, they were checking the power of it, and I was just under. Otherwise, they would have taken it off me. So investigate everything and what you can take and what you can't with your airlines.
Yeah, some of the Japanese airlines have changed it to, I can't remember the exact value they changed it to, but basically there was a fire and so I think it's Japan Air have changed their rules. So just check whoever you're flying with, just make sure you check in advance.
Yeah, and I think something else to add too is I think for me as a photographer, I always underestimate rain until it's happening. And so, I think every other photographer that watches this is probably like, I already have stuff in my bag, but I always have a poncho in there or a camera cover. And honestly, I take one of the little hand towels from the hotel and I just keep it in my backpack. And that's kind of a good thing to wipe my phone screen off or clean the end of my lens or whatever it is. Because that's just kind of nice to have something dry in there. My park essential is always a jacket and extra pair of socks because like you can't go wrong. Like even if you get your socks wet from the rain, you just go midday and change them. You're like a new person. Like it's incredible. Or ride Splash Mountain, you need some new socks and you dry your shoes a little bit and then you're good to go. So those, even though I haven't been, I think having an extra pair of socks around is always handy. Um, and I'm a locker getter. I rent a locker when I go to Disney because I bring camera equipment that I don't want to go back for. So I often will put it in there. So that's a great place if you're that kind of person. Store food or jackets or whatever. It's kind of underrated, but it's also $10 a day, so adds to your thing.
But
Okay.
you're really spot on that the towel thing, that's actually a thing that they do normally in Japan. Everyone does that. They have them not even in the parks, just for their normal everyday life. So that being a thing in Japan, Disney and the OLC, which if we can get into that if we want to or whatever, if the OLC runs the parks there kind of, they've caught on to that. And so they sell amazingly specific and awesome towels that if you can think of it, there's one for your favorite character or your favorite ride, I'm sure. So there's Disney versions of a towel like that. So if you want, be prepared to buy a couple of those when you're there.
That's awesome. I had no idea. That's so sick.
I do. It's like it's not just Disney; it's whole of Japan. So it's because they don't have hand dryers in a lot of like public toilets. So everyone carries a hand towel, and they're just great. You can get anything that's like Disney. There's one for everything, literally. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought the hand towels when I was there, like I thought they were like face cloths and things like that,
Yeah.
like when you can see them on sale. Like so, yeah, but my friend, they like prefer using like hand towels to hand dryers and things, like possibly because of the like noise and things like that of hand dryers and things. So they have like a little like hand towel that they take with them when, if they need to go to the toilet in a public place and things like that. That's not necessarily just in Japan, but just generally.
And like talking about what they sell at the parks, you can buy like anything over there. Like they sell pads to sit on the ground on to watch the parades. We'll get into it later, but you can buy parade spots. And it's just so much different merch and things. They do think about everything.
I've got something that it's kind of preparing and kind of park going, kind of ties into both. You can't take food into the parks. I know it's a bit of a shock because you think because you're just used to it, aren't you? Like it's like Paris or Florida, and you've always got a snack in your bag. But it's not really a thing. They do scan your bag. I don't know. I have not seen them take stuff off people, but it's just not kind of a thing. I think they will stop you if they catch you with food. Basically, you can take water in, take a bottle of water, but it's just they draw the line at food because if you want to take a packed lunch, you've got to play it there.
I just wanted to just add one last thing, if that's okay. Like, it's just about so to get to the park, like there's like a monorail. So it has like four stops. It has Tokyo Disney Sea, Tokyo Disneyland, the hotels, and the train station. But like I think you've got to pay like a small fee to use it each day. I think it's like something like I can't remember how much it was, but I don't think it was much. Yeah, Dean's got like the monorail passes.
Ticket.
There you go. Excellent. So yeah, thank you very much for demonstrating that. I don't know what I did with mine, but like I say, I went 18 months ago and I don't really think I kept the passes. So never mind.
I think I did a bit of research. It's 300 yen for a day. No, one way. So that's from if you get it from say Tokyo from the station down to DisneySea, or it's 700 yen for a day. You can buy multi-day passes, but they're probably just over 1,000 yen, which I think that's not even like 10 quid. It's really cheap. So it's quite affordable, really. And you can
Yeah.
use your IC card again. You don't need to get the physical tickets, but the physical tickets are quite cool.
Yeah, they're the best little like collectibles because they have different designs basically every day almost, some of them, and they have them for different events. So when I went, it was literally the 42nd anniversary of the opening of the park. So they had one for the 42nd anniversary, which that's a whole nother level of nerdiness that they do. They will celebrate every single anniversary, not just the 50th and the 25th. Every year they've got something going on for their anniversary. So a t-shirt I got too, but I had to get the monorail tickets that said 42nd anniversary.
I was going to say as well, because I stayed off site, and it was so basically, my Hammer station is the main train station at Disney. It's where you can catch the monorail. It's where the trains get into. So I stayed in a hotel. It was like 10 minutes away on the train. So if you stay on the KO line, basically that's the line that goes straight into my Hammer from Tokyo. So if you stay anywhere along that line, you can get to the parks within like 10 minutes. So that's quite convenient. So I just kind of get there every morning, get on the monorail if I'm going to DisneySea, or we'll just walk to Disneyland. You can get the monorail to Disneyland, but it's quite a short walk. That's just something for people to be aware of if you're not staying on site. It is quite easy to get to.
And get there early when you go into the parks. Don't wait for like half an hour before. Get there early, unless you're staying on site, and then you can have a bit of a lay-in. But...
yeah, definitely agree to that.
My question is, so I know that Tokyo Disney has a downtown Disney, quote unquote. I think it's Ikespari or Ixbari. I don't know how to say it because I suck at saying things. But what's that like? And how is it to go there and stuff? Like I've obviously never been, so is that a good place to go?
Have you ever seen Labyrinth? It's like once
that place is
you
amazing.
never find your way out.
Yeah. I don't know.
We got lost, and like the monorail stops at like 11:30 at night, and it was like 11:10, and we were just going round and round in circles trying to find where the station was. It's confusing as anything. Sorry, carry on.
No, you're right. That sounds like a scary movie, man. That is crazy. There's places where it just somehow just keeps going, and then there's more stairs, and you go down and around, and it just keeps. It's crazy. But the craziness aside, there is a lot of cool options there to eat, and they have a Rainforest Cafe and Outback Steakhouse. If you're just craving that for whatever reason, I mean, I'm not going to judge you. You can go get that. But they had a few actual Japanese cuisine places there too. So there's a movie theater, there's a Disney store, and there's just general shops. You can buy suitcases, clothes. It's basically a mall too on top of everything. So if you can at least not get somewhat lost, it's a great place to go. But it's also right there off the monorail station and off that first train station. So the train station is the Maihama station, which side fact is they built it just for the resort when the resort opened in '83. And Maihama was like the closest translation they had to Anaheim. So it's like, there we go. It's a little nerdy fact. But so it's the Maihama station, and the Disney monorail is right there. That station is there too. So you got Expiry and the stations right there on top of each other. So it's really convenient.
And it's really handy if you're coming out of the park at like 9, 10 and you're hungry, which we did most nights. We'd get the train there and just go to CGI Fridays or something, just something simple and easy before going back to the hotel. It's doable, but it's just, it's very confusing.
They do have McDonald's there too, if you want McDonald's. So we did stop there, I think, maybe twice for that McDonald's. So that's worth it too.
The McDonald's was like the only place that had a vegetarian option, and even all I could eat was chips and like a pie. It was like a chocolate pie. So that's something to be aware of. There's not many veggie options in Xperia, so yeah, it's not great. I'm not that impressed with it. Compared to like Disney Springs and even Disney Village now in Paris, this was just not it.
Yeah, Japan doesn't have a lot of vegetarian or vegan options. It's not the most vegetarian or vegan place generally, and things like that. I think they like the meat there. Unfortunately, yeah. So, like I think it's more sort of just due to their culture more than like the fact that again I think once they get more used to having like places where like vegetarian and vegan diets are sort of a bit more normalized, like I think they'll probably adapt to that.
Yeah, they've definitely improved since I first started going in like 2018. They've improved quite a lot. But I mean, we can talk more about the food later, about the parks, because I had some experiences. They were not great. I've been editing my vlogs, and you can see the sadness on my face when I'm eating this food. It's not the best.
Okay, so now I know that downtown Disney's confusing, but there's food, so that's cool. So now, and I understand how to get to the park, and I understand the benefits of staying on site versus off site. Like the extra 15 minutes to get Fastpass is really crucial, but off site, you're definitely going to save some money and stuff like that. So give or take, I'm definitely more with Sophie. Like I want to stay on site, but I'm also, I don't have infinite money. So, Okay, so now that we're at the park and we've got our bag full of essentials, we've got our socks and we've got our chargers and all the things. Um, Now we're going into the park. So what are everybody's suggestions or advice for first time people stepping through that gate for the first time? Like I've got my reservations and I've got my fast passes. Now what?
I think just sort of, I think for me, it was like quite, particularly with Tokyo Disney Sea, I think it was quite overwhelming. Tokyo Disney Sea is huge. Like, I'm going to say that. Like, I think I'm more used to like Disneyland Paris, which, by comparison is they're quite small parks there. But Tokyo Disney Sea was absolutely huge. And Fantasy Springs, unless you're staying on the Fantasy Springs Hotel, which I think has like another entrance to it, which um, yeah, that's kind of more at the back of Tokyo Disney Sea. So if you wanted to go there, then like I probably would like hurry there really and things like that when you're first there. But also, even though the parks are very sort of technology dependent. I've really fluffed up that pronunciation. I'm so sorry, but dependent on technology. You can go to guest services, and I went with my dad, and he did this because we like physical copies of maps and things like that. You can actually pick up a physical
Hmm.
copy of the maps from guest services, but they don't tell you that and things like that, really, and things like that. So yeah, and I think that was like the only place I really knew of where you could actually get a map and things like that. And also, what something else I was impressed with, and I don't know whether they do it on other parks, but in the guest services, they actually have like a copy of the map in Braille as well. So if like someone, I mean, so if you were partially sighted or blind, then you can use that to sort of know where everything is as well. Um, yeah, so I'd say that, but like I think like yeah, so it's sort of like take your time, but also sort of make sure that you kind of have a plan of what you want to get done and things like that, and get the flash passes that you want to have and need. And the good thing is that the staff are there to help you with that. I mean, one of the staff members helped me to get a I think it was one of the paid for ones for the 40th anniversary. Like they helped me to get one for the Peter Pan ride in Fantasy Springs, which I really loved, and I hold a very special memory of that because I was Disney banding as Peter Pan that day, and when I went on that ride, like a bunch of Japanese tourists actually stopped me to have my photo taken. Like, so I called them my lost boys slash girls slash people because like there was quite a large group of them and they were all wearing the same thing, and then there was me in the middle like with just my Peter Pan Disneyland, just like being like hey. So yeah, but they asked me in Japanese, like which was pretty cool because I could vaguely understand what they were saying was a question and things like that, and then you just repeated it in English because I don't know how the kind of my photo taken with you was in Japanese exactly, but I knew the ending of what they were saying was phrased as a question. So yeah.
So that's another question I have is say like I agree with what Rob said before about learning some um of the language before you go, but say I'm just not, I just can't learn other languages, say I just suck at it. Will I make it just speaking English, say, in that park? Like, will I be okay? Or oh, Sophie's shaking her head. Dean is nodding. Let's come on.
So I know a little bit of Japanese. I used to have Japanese lessons, but I'm not fluent, so don't ask me to reel off Japanese things. But I find that a lot of the parades will all be in Japanese, the rides will all be in Japanese, which is you expect it because you go to Paris, it's the same, but in French. So I think that aspect can be quite difficult, and not all of the cast members speak English. A few do, but oftentimes you'll probably go up to them and it'll be very limited, or they may not. They'll just look and be like, I can't. If they don't have a translation device, they just won't be able to help. And I find that when you go to check out as well, sometimes they will assume it's English, but sometimes they will speak in Japanese until you look at them blankly. And then they'll realise, yeah, okay, yeah, you don't know what I'm saying. And so I knew a few like key phrases, and I kind of said some stuff back to them, and they just assumed I could speak Japanese at that point, and they started reeling things off, and I was like, No, that's the limit of my Japanese. So I think it's a bit mixed, really. Dean obviously disagrees with me, so that's what he thinks.
I
Yeah.
just think if you've got Google Translate on your phone, you can pretty much do anything. So, and like obviously, like the basics, thank you, hello, goodbye, right? Um, like if you got the basics and Google Translate, I think you'd be fine. Really, it's a lot more easier than Hong Kong Disney was, to be honest.
Yeah, we found that hardly anyone did speak English when we were out there, but it wasn't really an issue. They do ask you, they do think that you will speak Japanese, which obviously I don't, just the basics like the hellos and thank yous. But the most of them had the translation boxes. So they would speak into it and then you could read back in English what they're trying to communicate. So there was no communication barriers as such. But yeah, don't expect them to speak English because there's very limited the number of cast members that speak English.
I can
And I
kind of
will,
relate to what Sophie said about like, sort of like speaking a bit of Japanese to the people there and things like that in Japan. And like when they start speaking Japanese back to you, and then I just end up just staring blankly because again, like I sort of know a few basic words and phrases, but yeah, to hold a conversation in Japanese, I probably wouldn't do. But I think it is just nice and polite. I think really, and things to at least try and learn a bit of the language and to try and like yeah, it just shows you making an effort. And I suppose if like tourists from other places were to come to the UK, to America, like we probably would think that we probably would assume that they would all be speaking English as well. So yeah, so I think it's just kind of that polite and that probably just that empathy in me and things like that, really, and things like that. That I just wanted to learn Japanese, and also it's just kind of fun to learn it.
Yeah, ever since I got back from my trip, I've been doing Duolingo every day, trying to pick up more and more Japanese. Because I'm like, next trip, I want to be able to have a moderate conversation in Japanese. But like you said, there are cast members that do speak and some that don't, of course. I would say the majority probably don't, but they will find someone that can speak English too. And like Dean said, that Google Translate's going to be your best friend. But some of the attractions, like in Pirates of the Caribbean, when you get to, the part of the attraction where they're singing, you still get the English yo ho. That song is still in English. So there are instances on some attractions where there's English. And some shows and attractions, you can get like a special little device that will give you the English version. So if you go to the Tiki Room, their Tiki Room has a Stitch kind of overlay in it. And the normal show that you're going to sit there and watch if you don't ask for anything will be in complete Japanese. But if you ask for a little translator device, they'll give it to you and you can get the English version of the show. And I think that maybe the Magic Eye, or not Magic Eye, the Magic Lamp Theater might do that as well in Tokyo DisneySea. That one I'm not sure because I missed out on that attraction last trip. The next trip I'll definitely do it. But I think you can there as well.
I did not know that. That is a great tip because I was sat there like, what?
Yeah, like it was a cute show because I watched it without it first. So it's still a cute Tiki Room show with Stitched and everything. But once you get the translation, it's obviously probably more enjoyable, but it's still cute either way.
Yeah, because I will say me and Dean, we saw that Dreams Take Flight, which was weird. It's nothing because you know how weird it was.
Acid trip.
I've heard it's weird. It wasn't open when I went. I didn't get to see it, but
Definitely see it. But so
Oh,
like
yeah.
all the talking's in Japanese, but the songs are in English, so it's actually really easy to follow. So that's like a rare example of like you can actually follow one of the shows. I don't know if they're all like that, but definitely it is the weirdest show I've ever seen that Disney've ever done. But definitely try and see it if you can.
Yeah, like when I went, like at the end of day shows and things like that, the Fire is Spectacular. Like they had the song in English, and they have like the announcements before and after the show. They do them in Japanese and also in English. The song for the Tokyo Disneyland show that was in English, but like they have like the different parts in Japanese, but also some in English as well, sort of thing. And I think the same with Tokyo Disney Sea and things as well. Like they've got like that I mean that show was absolutely amazing and things like that. Well, both of them were really and things, but they do have the announcements in English and in Japanese and things like that, really, and whatnot. But strangely enough, when I was there, like one of the announcements was something about like due to adverse weather conditions, like we're not doing like drones or something like that, but then I was like thinking like it was like the clearest skies you could ever see, and I was like thinking, what adverse weather conditions? like, what's going on? Maybe they just couldn't be bothered that day. I don't know.
That's like
I would
Disneyland Paris
definitely,
level.
yeah, I would definitely guess that it was probably wind because I went in April, and so I didn't have a whole lot of heat or a whole lot of cold, but I did get a lot of wind in April. So maybe it was that because it was crazy windy for a couple hours when I was there every day. So maybe it was wind.
Maybe I don't remember it being particularly windy, but whatever.
Maybe they just
Maybe.
forgot to charge them. They're like, ah, well, it could be windy. There's no batteries
Yeah.
in them.
Knowing
Here's
them, I doubt it though, because their maintenance standards are insane.
um here's a question I have. We talked about food a little bit, but I go and I'm always looking for like allergy friendly kind of places, like gluten free or dairy free or both. And I found that some parks are better at this than others. Disney World was by far the best at this that I've been to so far. They are so like ready to cater to your needs, and we talked to so many chefs. Personally, I got awesome dishes for people, but how is it there if I'm going with these sensitivities or maybe not just diets, but things that I do need to avoid? How hard is that going to be?
They have an allergy menu. I think it's in every restaurant, but I think it is the same thing. It's like a curry or a stew. But it will be in every single restaurant, more or less, so you'll be able to get that quite easily. I don't know if anyone else has found anything with their experiences.
The restaurants kind of give you like for like a standard dish or standard meal, they'll give you like two kind of set courses that you will follow. So pick one of those two. Um, but essentially, like she was saying, that they will have that one kind of option that is mostly allergen friendly, but it's going to be basically the same in every restaurant.
Yeah, that
That's
was
really good.
essentially what I was going to say as well, and things like that. Like, there are like there are like kind of allergy friendly versions of certain dishes, but yeah, it is quite limited in things.
I see. I see. And that sounds a lot more similar to Disneyland, California, where they do have options and you can get special requests, but it's not as plentiful. There's definitely a smaller menu for people with those allergies. As I'm opening the door here to food, though, I would love to hear about any food experiences. I know Sophie has some. Where should I go? What should I avoid? Are the snacks delicious? What all that sorts of stuff. What's the food scene?
I think if you eat meat, it's probably quite good. If you don't eat meat and you're a vegetarian or even a vegan, don't expect much. I found Disneyland easier to deal with than DisneySea. DisneySea was really poor on like the vegan options. They had a vegan burger, which was the saddest. It was okay, but it was the saddest vegan burger I've ever had in my life. I had a vegan sandwich. It was a tortilla sandwich, and the tortilla was soggy. It was basically just salad in a tortilla, and it was just the saddest, soggiest thing I've ever ate. And it came in a set with a salad, and the salad had fish in, so it wasn't even vegan anymore. Um, I was just disappointed. I didn't go in with high hopes because I know they're not vegetarians or vegans. It's not common in Japan. So I need to have low expectations, but I think I was still a bit shocked when I got there and the options weren't really like what I'm used to at, say, Walt Disney World, because Walt Disney World do vegan and vegetarian quite well at this point. A lot of the sweet treats are quite good though, so I could eat those.
Yeah, I like the sweet treats, like, the snacks and things. Like, I think a couple of standouts for me were there was like a Mickey Mouse ice cream sandwich, which I got from Oaken's OK Foods, which is in Fantasy Springs in the Arendelle section. Yeah, like I think I bought two or three of them throughout the day that I was there. And also like the ones that I found were really cute were like these like Toy Story alien mochi snacks and things like that, which was kind of, I think there was like three of them, and then you got like one chocolate, one vanilla, and one strawberry one. Yeah, so I really loved that. Really loved that. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, they've got some, yeah, so those are my standout snacks and things that I had at Tokyo Disneyland and things like that, and Tokyo Disney Sea. Yeah, not so much of a snacker generally, but yeah, enjoyed them.
I had the melon bread in Tokyo Disney Sea, and it is so tasty. It's like the best thing I've ever had. And in Disneyland, I had a potato churro, which again was really, really tasty. They've got some really good snacks over there. The only thing that you forget is when you eat over there, you shouldn't really be walking. Obviously, it's a Disney park, so you do most of the time end up walking and forgetting about it. But yeah, it's kind of frowned upon. If you're eating, you need to stay still or sit down to eat over there, supposedly.
Yeah, I actually thought about another standout snack I had, like which was I think it was the last snack I had actually, which was I think it was this like raspberry macaroon thing, like and things like that, which I think was kind of like a limited edition menu item, and you could get a plate which had Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph on it because and they have like limited edition snacks and plates and things like that based on certain characters. So when I was there, it was Vanellope. I think a month or two afterwards, it was like Donald Duck and things like that. And it's really nice that you can like buy like little like plates or mug cups and things like that. I got this one for the Tangled boat ride, so Rapunzel's like Lantern
It's
Festival and things like that.
cute.
Yeah, so I've been using this to drink out of like quite a lot, and yeah, I think it's had a snack in it, but I can't remember what snack it was that was in here. But yeah, like, but I think I just kind of bought the snack just so I could have this cup, really, and things like that.
We had the vacation package, so that came with the churros. So we did overload of churros, but they were pretty good. And I, like Dean said, the potato one, I was like, this is going to be weird, but it was just so tasty. Had a couple of those. Chocolate one was really nice. Had the other specialty ones, and also the specialty drinks are amazing. Like for the 25th, definitely recommend.
One of the snacks that I got too, well, I think we probably had maybe 5 of them while we were there, is the little, I forget the name of it, but it was like an ice cream that we got in Mermaid Lagoon in DisneySea. That was like a sea salt kind of ice cream. That was amazing. It was like the wafer shell outside actually looked like a shell because it was in Mermaid Lagoon, so it has to. And then it was like vanilla ice cream in the middle with like a hint of strawberry. Those were amazing. And then it's kind of borderline snack meal, but the gyoza bun in Mysterious Island at Tokyo DisneySea, I could eat that every day. That was like my favorite thing I've probably ever had at a Disney park. For me, it's like Ronto wraps, gyoza buns. Those were like the 2 best things. And then somehow we've made it this far into a Tokyo food conversation without mentioning their popcorn, which is what they're known for. So I'll just say now, you got to try the popcorn. We tried curry and garlic shrimp and honey and black pepper, not all together, of course, but separately. So those were all really good. And I see one of the popcorn buckets over there, I think Rob might be bringing up, but the popcorn buckets too are a whole nother level. They have the best buckets and the best flavors of popcorn, if you ask me.
I had the white chocolate popcorn and that was really good.
Ooh, I need to get that.
It's honestly, I would definitely recommend that. And there's a Neapolitan one. So I got this from, the popcorn shop in Disneyland. It's basically a whole shop just for popcorn, and you can choose your bucket and you choose your popcorn, and you can get Neapolitan, which is literally tastes like the ice cream. It is so good. Definitely recommend that one as well.
Oh my gosh, I haven't eaten yet today, and this is rude. Like this sounds incredible. I wanted to go around to everybody and ask your top 3 attractions, and then like your last couple tips for a first time park goer to Tokyo Disney, and then you can throw in the things that we maybe didn't get to or things that you wanted to add in. So I'm just gonna kind of pick someone. Dean, do you want to go first on that?
So top 3 attractions, Beauty and the Beast was amazing. I sat next to Sophie on one time we rode it, and we both were tears coming down our face. It's something you need to be on to experience. Like, the YouTube videos do not do it justice. I would say, obviously, the Frozen ride is amazing. So much better than the US ones and Hong Kong and Paris ones. 100% better. Every park should get that version of Frozen. And Tower of Terror. I really love Tower of Terror. And Splash Mountain. Sorry, I'm going to fall, but Splash Mountain. It was like emotional riding that, knowing that it's not going to be there much longer, because they're not going to keep it for much longer, and it's in pristine working order. They look after their rides there, definitely. So I would say those. Top tip: if you want to see the parade or see like the castle show, then pre-book a space, sit on the ground. You can buy a cushion, and prime viewing areas. It's not that expensive, and it's so much better than fighting the crowd trying to get somewhere else. You get a designated little space. You can sit down, rest your legs, and it just makes it so much more enjoyable.
Awesome. Those are great tips. Is someone burning to go next, or should I just pick someone? Tori, go for it.
So my first one has to be Beauty and the Beast, because obviously I love Beauty and the Beast, and I'd only seen little clips of it because I didn't want any spoilers. And as Dean said, it's just such an amazing ride. Definitely very tear-jerking, and it's just amazing. I didn't know a ride could be like that good. I was shocked. So worth going just for that, as far as I'm concerned. Second one for me is probably Journey to the Centre of the Earth. I just absolutely love that ride. Did that several times. It's just a favourite. And I think, again, Frozen, because I went to the Disneyland Paris one and I thought that was awesome. Like, it was all updated and fresh. And then we went to Tokyo and I was like, why didn't we get this version? It was just, I was like, why have we messed up in Paris? But there we go. No, those are my top three.
Excellent choices. I've had a friend recently go and tell me the Tower of Terror there is rad, so I'm still on Team Tower of Terror, but I want to ride Journey to the Center of the Earth so bad. It looks so cool. Oh, one day. Rob, how about you? What are your top Tokyo Disney things?
Okay, well, I kind of would like to kind of go for like more sort of like Tokyo exclusive ones. So like the one that meant the most to me was Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure. I didn't really get the chance to go on the Frozen ride or the Tangled ride, unfortunately, when I was at Tokyo DisneySea, unfortunately. Um but I'm gonna say this one. Also echoing what Dean and Tori said about the Beauty and the Beast ride, like I went on that. That is absolutely incredible. Possibly arguably like the my favorite ride I've been on in like any Disney park, which is quite a bold claim, but yeah, but that one was incredible. But also I want to say as well, just for a bit of like quick fun, like I'm gonna say Baymax's Happy Ride as well, and things like in Tomorrowland and Tokyo Disneyland, like that was a lot of fun. And like I think it's a bit like the Guardians of the Galaxy ride in Epcot, where like have like a different song on for like every time you go on it and things like that. So I really enjoyed that. I think yeah, my top tip for it is just sort of just prepare, research, etc. really, and things like that. But when you're in the park and things like that, just enjoy yourself. I think with Tokyo Disney Sea as well, because of how grand it is and things like that, you could spend half the day just like walking around it and still feel like it's a worthwhile like day really, and things like that, because there's so much to see and do, particularly in the Atlantica zone and things like that, like like where they've decorated it for the Little Mermaid. That place is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it's just a great place to explore and things.
Excellent. Excellent advice. Sophie, what about you?
So the one ride is going to be this one that everyone else has said, Beauty and the Beast. I I was supposed to go to Japan in 2020 for the opening of that ride. Obviously, we know what happened in that year. So I waited 5 years to go on that ride, and when I finally got to go on it, oh, it is so good. I wish all rides were that good, because it is just amazing. You have to experience it to really get it. Another one is Rapunzel's Lantern Festival. So it is really short, and it's probably not worth the really long wait times. It is actually is really short. You go and you think, oh, is that it? But I think it's so well done, and as a Tangled fan, it's kind of what Rapunzel deserves, especially the boat scene. Oh my god, oh, I still cry when I think about it. It's just so beautiful and so well done. And then I'm going to throw a curveball and say Sinbad's Storybook Voyage, which is so like it's so unique to that park. And so it used to be a very scary like boat ride, but now they've kind of updated it and made it really cute. And Chandu is my favourite Disney character now, because he's just this cute little tiger that goes on with these adventures. And he's just so cute, and I just want him. But it's always like a 5 minute wait, so you can just walk on it, and I just think everyone needs to go on that. And my tip would be, so Duffy and friends are only at Tokyo Disney Sea, so don't go to Disneyland expecting to see Duffy and his friends. You can only get that in DisneySea. So you can only buy Duffy merch in DisneySea. Can't get it outside the parks. They don't sell it in the Disney store or in Disneyland. It's specifically just to DisneySea. So just keep that in mind if you go.
All right, and last but not least, Evan, what is your top Tokyo tips?
Saving me for last might have been a bad idea because I could still talk another 10 hours about Tokyo. So if I go too long, cut me off. But for me, like the three things in Tokyo Disney Sea, because it's my favorite park on Earth. So I'll mainly stick to there because you all covered Beauty and the Beast and how amazing that is. So definitely Beauty and the Beast. But Tokyo Disney Sea, for me, you got to do 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea
Yeah.
because there's nothing like that anywhere. It's one of my favorites, or maybe my favorite attraction ever. It's amazing. Journey to the center of the earth, of course, as already mentioned. You've got to do that because there is nothing like that on Earth. Kind of a theme, I guess, here. And for me, it's a very underrated attraction, but you've got to go to the Fortress Explorations in the Mediterranean Harbor. It's a walkthrough attraction, and there is also like a little game you could play if you want, which is mostly in Japanese. But if you have Google Translate and you kind of know Disney theme parks, if you kind of know how they work, you can figure it out. And it's well worth it. So go do the Fortress Explorations slash, I think that's called the Leonardo Challenge, I want to say. So do those two because those are the best walkthrough attractions I've ever experienced. I wish we had more things like that. Not everything has to be I love Rise of the Resistance, but not everything has to be Rise of the Resistance. You know, give me a cool walkthrough attraction with some mind-blowing effects in there and I'm going to be happy, you know, so do the Fortress. One of the biggest tips I would say though is check the maintenance closures that are going to be there because you don't want to get there and realize Journey to the Center of the Earth is closed. You know, you might have came all the way just for that one attraction. So sadly, I knew ahead of time, but sadly I had to miss out on Pooh's Honey Hunt because Pooh was under maintenance when I went. So that's the next time for me. Gotta do Pooh. Check those. They'll be closed for sometimes a whole year at a time. Like right now, Indiana Jones is still closed and we don't know when it's going to reopen. So pay attention to those because it's really big. But another thing too, it's not really a tip or anything, but the cast members there, I have a couple stories for, they're amazing. A couple of them went way out of their way just to do something that no one had to do, but they did it just because they saw we needed some help or they saw that we had some questions and they went out of their way to do it. Whether it was taking our luggage off the bus for us, or they saw me lugging a few suitcases and he literally ran over and was like, no, 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 no. And he took the suitcases politely from my hands and took them into the hotel for me. Like they go out of their way. There's a couple others, but I don't want to go another, hour on that. But the cast members there they really are magical. They're simply magical. So they bring that for sure. And there's so many other things. The characters there, they have so many roaming characters that you probably can't see them all. So don't be bummed if you miss them because there's so many roaming characters. I don't know, the parks are just kind of ran to me anyway, almost how us Disney nerds would run a park. I feel like they do it kind of the way we would if we could. So I don't know, they still kind of felt like that magic to me. So I can't recommend them enough. Like I said, I could talk for hours about them, but I don't want to drag on too long here.
Well, maybe one day or another time we'll have to do another deep dive on Tokyo, and you're definitely invited. Everyone's always invited, but you're definitely invited to that. I mean, you can talk your heart out. But yeah, I think I've learned a lot today as somebody who's never been and plans to go at some point. I want to be like Dean and get all the parks one day. I learned a lot today. I learned about those cool little currency cards that you can get that transfer from dollars to whatever or whatever your currency is. It's very cool. I learned that I really do need to get on the app for this one. I'm not an app guy. I'm not a reservations guy, but it seems like I kind of need to lock in on this one and kind of get on that. So I appreciate knowing that. I appreciate knowing that I do need to learn some Japanese, if I'm going to go, especially if I'm going to enjoy the rides. That's very useful information. And I also am glad to know that, I was glad to hear that a lot of the rides there are just so lovable. Like Beauty and the Beast was a common theme. We had a couple other common ones, but really everyone shared very different attractions. And I really like that because it just tells me it's a good park. So I really can't miss.
It's more expensive, but I would say do the vacation package, even if it's just one night. especially with all the changes we've got coming up where you don't get any free passes or anything. Vacation package is the way to book it all in, because once people start reserving the once people don't have any free passes to get, it's going to go even quicker, and it's going to ruin your day if you get in there and you can't get on your rides, and then you've got to queue like 3 hours to get on something.
Yeah.
So I would vacation package.
Yeah, definitely. And you get all the paper tickets as well. So it's not on the app. So you've got a paper ticket for your Fastpass on that as well, which is a bit easier.
Wow. Excellent, excellent advice. I do appreciate you guys so much for coming on today. It was so great to hear from everyone. It was great to have Sophie back. Dean, as always, my friend, it's good to see you. And thank you, Rob and Tori and Evan, for joining us on our podcast. We're so glad you're here, and we really do hope to see you again. You guys brought awesome things to the table and great perspectives and great information. We do all sorts of episodes here on Diz Debate, and so we'd love to see you guys scattered about in all the things that we do. It'd be fantastic. But I think that about wraps it up for this episode. So thank you so much for joining us here on Diz Debate, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye now.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.